Hey everyone, yesterday we had some real bangers from Korea, but today we're going to be looking at to go back to solo queue and look at the best champions for climbing. There are going to be timestamps, there'll be a list of the champions in the description, and the builds and the explanations are going to be in the video. So we're going to start with AD carry, and as always we're going to do this top tier thing that we've been doing recently. So I think the top tier right now would be Jinx, Ashe, Lucian, Kai'Sa, Xayah, Jhin, Caitlyn, and then Vayne as well. Not too much has changed, but next patch there will be. We've got some AD carry nerfs coming in. Still, I think Jinx is going to be the best, especially for lower ranks. She's pretty easy to play. You just right click really. You have high range when you're in a rocket form anyway. And I think she's pretty much always a good pick at that level. I think part of that is because it boosts your farming. So you have your rockets and your runes, which is more gold, but you spend less time farming as well. So you have more chance to be in the right place at the right time, if that makes sense. When you do actually team fight, you get your resets, right? So you get more kills, you get more of a lead, a bigger lead at least, and you don't really have to kite that well to win fights. It's all AoE damage anyway, so you just right click and you kill everybody. I actually think Lucian is much better now as well, so he's going to take a second spot as long as you can stay even or ahead. Like if you get behind a Jinx, you're so screwed, but as long as you're even, it's fine. There is a new build that we did a video on that you can check out if you want to. It's a couple of days ago. It's Essence Reaver into Infinity Edge. It's 50% crit, a ton of AD. You don't have attack speed until later, but you do get the kill pretty much in the first combo and the passive shots with all of that AD, so it doesn't matter. Lucian anyway has good mobility. It's hard to shut down really. You've got a lot of damage from range with your ultimate, so you can kind of stay safe at the back and use that first, wait for cooldowns, and you can honestly just snowball out of control with this build. Third spot could easily go to Kai'Sa, but I do want to talk about Xayah very quickly because she can slap lanes with Rakan, who is getting more popular again, but she's just very safe. She's very hard to focus and deadly when ahead. Obviously more items mean more damage, especially for an AD carry, but it means way more damage with your W when you take that into account. It means that she bursts basically when you have more items and you can't focus her because of her ultimate. When a champion can burst but you can't focus them and shut them down, it's really hard to deal with that AD carry. She can also peel for herself pretty much with her root. You scale well, as I said, you can do good damage with your E in the lane phase, so you actually stand a chance to win lane. So I think Vayne is worth a mention to round out AD carries. It depends a lot on your support in my opinion. If you have a winning matchup, then it's 10 times easier in the game because you don't have to 1v2 the lane. It is still the same thing. You need 3 items really, and then you stand a really good chance to win the game. Like you spike up massively after that point, so all you have to do really is survive. You can outplay at that point. You can get kills with pressy attack early if you play it right, but it's very hard to shut down or dive on once she has her Phantom Dancer and a Rage Blade. Lots of people now also go Inspiration secondary, so you can have a better lane phase, so you definitely try that. Boots is like 1 kill worth of gold, and biscuits help a ton. Let's move into our mid lane. So our top tier is Ahri, Sylas, Akali, Syndra, Yasuo, Zed, and then the new ones for us, Malzahar and Qiyana. We do have to talk about Akali because she is absolutely insane. She's terrifying to play against because of her burst damage, but she is getting nerfed next patch, I think, so you've got just over a week to abuse her. If she does manage to get a lead, which happens way too often in my games, you're probably going to kill at least one person per fight. Like one person is just gone, and it actually depends on how good Akali is. If she is good, then it's going to be more than one because you don't have to use your ultimate to kill people. There are so many different ways to outplay. Shroud buys you a lot of time. Your healing is pretty decent. Your mobility is insane, and I definitely think she's the best assassin right now. Qiyana would definitely be a close runner-up after Akali for best assassin. Akali normally focuses on one person. Qiyana just ruins your entire team with the crowd control and damage. Maybe it's partly because she's new and you don't really know how to play against her yet, but you really have to avoid fighting in rivers or near a wall really. Like the push into stun is just way too strong. Team-wide crowd control on an assassin is a pretty insane idea. Her damage when ahead is bonkers though, so that is one thing. Like when behind, she's not that amazing at all, but if ahead, when she normally is ahead, her damage is so hard to dodge or outplay. It's just straight up burst. One champion that can be pretty good against those assassins is Sylas because of the healing, but a lot of this again depends on the player, how they engage, and which ultimates they use. When he has a few items, even normal like boring ultimates and stuff can nuke people down because of the ratio on them, so it can be absolute game changers like the way he uses that. The main reason you pick Sylas though, what he's so good at in this current game, is just really good at brawling early, so the healing is massive. He does pretty good damage anyway, is good lockdown and crowd control, so you tend to see him fighting a lot and trying to get a lead, basically abusing the heal. Last up, I want to mention Malzahar. He is pretty boring, I know, but he's definitely a sleeper pick at the moment if you really only care about climbing and you want to sell your soul to do it. Your jungler is probably going to come mid more, which is so good for helping you win your lane. If not, you just push anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but because you can just press R and lock somebody down, the jungler is probably going to come. Your job later, honestly, is just the same thing. Flash R, lock somebody down. This is a reason he's so good against assassins like Akali. There's no counterplay except a QSS later, but that is gold invested into it and not invested into damage. They jump in, they can't outplay the crowd control, and so he's always going to be useful, and you actually do a surprising amount of damage. Let's move into our jungle. So we've got a couple of new picks, but our top tier is going to be Nunu, Mundo, which is new. So Kha'zix, Jarvan, Hecarim, Gragas, I think is a bit new here as well. And then Xayah and Elise. So Nunu snowballs games out of control unlike no other, honestly. Nunu is the best jungler in the game by a mile. And the funny thing is, I don't really know why, and even Riot doesn't know why yet either. His win rate shot up in 9.17. It might be a bug, honestly, who knows, but he was pretty good anyway. He just never dies, basically, right? He's simple to play, loads of crowd control, healing, tank items, and a hugely annoying frontline. It's kind of like the new age of Sejuani. Like, his ganks are so much better. They're so potent. He runs into lane fades, runs through wards, it doesn't matter, and still gets kills. He can dive under towers and pretend they aren't there because he's so tanky, but the real fun starts at like 2 items where you just really cannot die. If you'd rather play damage, then Kha'zix is kind of our late game carry choice. His damage is off the charts later, and the only real answer is a Guardian Angel. It's kind of sad, but if he's good, you won't see him coming at all until it's way too late. He'll hunt, he'll like flank fights as well, using stealth and catch you in places that you think are safe. I've died in my base running out before for Kha'zix, just like he had a ward over, he stealthed and jumped over the wall. He really isn't good against tanks like Nunu, but others he can find alone early. He's got pretty good damage even at that point, and he's one of the scariest champions if he gets an early lead. I want to talk about Gragas because he really depends on the player in my opinion. He's a bit like Lucian, like very punishing if you mess him up and stuff, but his damage is really good at the moment. He's got good engage, he has really good ganks as well. Farming is pretty stellar, so he spends more time popping Predator and just running at people in lane. If you have a lead, I think you stand a really good chance to win the game, but it does kind of depend on that a little bit. Like, you win most fights early, or you should do, and then with more damage, you can actually one-shot and burst constantly. The one I want to mention at the end of the junglers though is Mundo, and this was talked about in my Korean picks video, so it's probably like a bit more of an in-depth guide in that one. But he's kind of like the next meta pick, weirdly, similar to Nunu, never dies, stacks health and tenacity, so you can't even crowd control him. At least with Nunu, you can stun him and run away. With Mundo, you can't. He has Merc Treads, tenacity runes, and tenacity while his W is active, so you're literally never getting away. He doesn't just tank though, this is the thing. He'll kill you as well. With the speed from his ultimate, the speed from approach velocity and inspiration secondary, cleavers, Emax for the AD, red smite, he will 1v1 basically anybody. Moving into our top lane, Pantheon has pretty much solidified himself here in the top tier. We've also got Aatrox, Renekton, Darius, Mordekaiser, Kled, and Irelia are new ones here, and Fiora. So Pantheon has pretty much just kicked off from where he started pre-update. Honestly, he's spanking top laners left, right, and center just like he used to. He demolishes early game with a lethality build with the added extra of being able to dive easier, which I guess he could kind of do before, but now he takes like, well, he can do it for longer, and abuse Conqueror as well for longer trades, which he really couldn't do before. The idea is really to bully hard, to control the lane phase, get a few kills, get a lead, and then roam around the map with your ultimate to win other lanes. I think Pantheon and Aatrox are pretty like 1 and 2, so you can swap them around if you really wanted to, but Aatrox is still nutty. He's getting nerfed next patch, I think, as well, which is probably good news, but the champion just has everything you want and can pretty much 1v5 fights. The first thing is he's got really good mobility, so you can't escape him. He's got his dashes, speed from ultimate, some crowd control on top, and huge healing as well, which basically forces you to spend 3 kills worth of gold on an item to stop him. With all of that stuff though, which is already a lot, he has a huge damage, even though yes, most of it needs you to slightly aim your Q, or you could dodge it, I guess. It's AoE, and he can easily run through entire teams. One of the answers to Aatrox and to Pantheon as well, actually, and most Conqueror abusing champions now is Kled. Now that his Q has hidden reduction on it, he's pretty similar to Pantheon. He's a really good early game, really good damage. He can chase people down easily if they make a mistake, so it's really hard to get away from him if you just slightly overextend. The mount system is going to let you outplay, and honestly, I think even now, a lot of people don't know how that works. And then after that, you run with your ultimate to other lanes, down to mid lane, lane or a skirmish with the jungler or something, or down bot lane, like literally down the lane, and snowball the whole game. Mention wise for top lane, I want to have a look at Irelia. I still think on a good player, Irelia is one of the strongest champions because she has so many ways to show how good you are. Her stun can be massive if you hit more than one person. You can dash around the fights, kiting people, and it seems like there is always a way that she can come out on top, whether it's like mobility, crowd control, or damage. She does have really good damage, especially over time as well, but I don't think she's actually that strong like herself, I guess, to be higher in this video. It's more about the player that makes her insane, if that makes sense. Finally, then we're going to have a look at our support. So for our top tier, we've got Nautilus, we've got Leona, who is new, Janna, Nami, Thresh, Pyke, Morgana, and Rakan. Our number one is definitely going to be Nautilus this time around. We are back to kill lanes basically, and I swear to God, if I get solo killed by another Nautilus support, I'm actually going to flip. Thanks to the new death recap as well, I know that Nautilus does over half the damage, way more than half of the damage in a fight. So your AD carry only needs a little bit of follow-up to get the kill. He has so much crowd control, so much damage with it as well, especially early, and he's got a really good, easy way to engage with his Q and his ultimate. But the downside is that this stuff isn't as useful in teamfights as it is in lane, so you're definitely going to fall off. Leona is also really good right now. She's obviously still a kill lane, but she does scale a little bit better now because Riot keep buffing her. They keep buffing her team fighting, so she can stun and jump around more often and even have 100% uptime on her W. Honestly, she just has insane engage. Probably better than anybody else except Rakan, I guess, but she's also very tanky, so she's hard to punish in once she has dove in, unlike Rakan where you can burst him, though I guess Rakan is kind of AoE and Leona single target. In early fights as well, now that you have damage reduction, like flat damage reduction on your W, it's really good to be able to last a bit longer, like in 2v2 fights or 3v3. Like having that tank at the front with some crowd control and with some damage as well is so important to winning those. Third spot is another kill lane, a bit more versatile though. Thresh is a land, hook, and kill lane pretty much though, right? Like that's his bread and butter. He isn't as tanky as the others, which can be a little bit of a problem if you go up against them, but he can set things up in more ways, whether it's like hook, flay, or lanterns. The thing is, Leona and Nautilus are like just go in champions. If you can't go in, they're just not very good at all. The Thresh can use his abilities to defend himself or his teammates or whatever to go in or defend basically as well. So there's less pressure to get kills and just kind of like adapt to the game and not force stuff. The last one I'm going to mention, though, is a really good pick against those three. So Morgana is like the ultimate cockblock for those. I don't think she's at the very top, but she's really difficult to play against for those champions. Against other mages, they can break the shield a bit too easily, but versus crowd control lane, she will dominate, and she does have pretty good damage herself. It depends what AD you have, but normally a bind, a W on top of that ignite as well, and shield on the AD should be some pretty easy kills, and then that is rinse and repeat for the entire game. That's all you have to really do. With that said, those are the best champions right now in solo queue overall, in my opinion. I actually think the game is pretty balanced as well, but these for sure stand out. Thank you for watching until the very end of the video, but for now, I will leave you with robots.